Neil, down in front. Obviously, a big win for you tonight in co-main event in what has been an incredible night in Liverpool. Talk to me, when the offer came in to fight Craig, 12 days out, did you have to think at all about accepting that given the short notice?
No, not at all. The message came through from Sean Shelby saying he found me an opponent. Before I can even say anything, I already responded with a yes. And then like a couple minutes later, I responded to my coach like, hey, by the way, I have a fight now. So it was no hesitation whatsoever to take the fight when it came through.
Obviously, after the fight, you had a very intriguing call-out of Kamaru Usman. What's kind of behind that call-out? Why is it him you want to meet next in the octagon?
He's proven himself to be a great fighter so far. I mean, he got a lot accomplished in the division right now. He's in the top 5 now. So it makes sense to me to want to call out a guy who's actually proven himself time and time again rather than someone else. So if it ends up coming through, I'll take the fight. If not, we'll see what happens.
You know, you've had a lot of fights now in the UFC. Like, looking back from, I guess, when you first joined the organisation, where do you think you have improved the most? And do you think you're finally going to start making a run at this kind of top 5 in the division?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fight after fight, I proved I'm becoming more well-rounded as far as my skill set goes. I show a little more in striking department, wrestling department, grappling department every fight. I think as of lately, I've been putting the mental piece into the fight game, and that's what it take me back to the top of the division and making a run at the title now.
Neil, can you talk a little bit about what the feeling is like? I was next. That's why I made sure to talk quick. Neil, talk a little bit what the feeling is like being in there. I mean, you know, obviously you said, hey, I'll fight anybody anytime. But, I mean, you have everything to lose. You know, you're fighting a guy that you probably don't know much about, haven't had time to break down. Give me an idea what the emotion is like, what the feeling is like, the nerves are like.
It's all about how I view it. I mean, I could view it as a lose-lose, or I could view it as another huge opportunity. For me, going into the fight, it was all about gratitude. I mean, I was in a position last year where I wanted to fight, but physically I was unable to, and it was at a doctor's decision if I would be able to fight again. So when the opportunity came for me to fight, it was more so like, yeah, absolutely, I'm healthy, I'm in shape, let's do it. Let me not waste this time that I have now.
And you made such a nice gesture as well. I mean, you mentioned it before the fight. You know, if I can get a fight, I'll make this donation. And now you're saying I'm going to go through with it. Can you just tell us how that came about, you know, how you got connected there and why you wanted to make that gesture?
To be honest with you, I've never met this young girl. It came through from my old wrestling coach, Lisa Bowling. He initially made the post, and I was reading about it. I was like, man, this is difficult. I couldn't imagine having a child be in a position that she's in, and then having to find a way to provide for her and get her the medical care that she needs. So the stage was set for me to do something about it, so I took full advantage of it.
I just want to follow up on your call out of Kamaru Usman. Obviously, he's undefeated. So what chinks do you see in his armor that you feel as though you can exploit in a fight with him?
This is one of the things that just makes me a good fighter. I mean, I'm able to adapt to situations as they come. I mean, he's shown a lot of different skill sets in the past, and obviously wrestling being his strong suit. I'm not afraid of where the fight goes. If he wants to keep it standing, I can find a way to beat him standing. If he wants to wrestle, I find a way to beat him wrestling. If he goes to the ground, I find a way to find a submission or reverse it up on top and then finish the fight. So I'm not afraid to go anywhere this fight is going to potentially take me, and that's what excites me about it.
Also, just wanted to ask you about Mike Perry. He's been using some colorful language, to say the least, on social media. What have you made of that?
I haven't even heard it. This is the first time hearing about it. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what's been said or where his mind sits right now.
Fair enough.
Cool.
And just finally for me, being here in Liverpool, you know, fighting here in Europe, did you like it? Would you like to do it some more in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great experience for me. I mean, in addition to fighting and doing something I love, I mean, one of the things that adds to the journey for me is the place I get to go and the people I get to meet. And fighting here in Liverpool just adds to that experience. I mean, the fans here were great from the open workout to the live weigh-in to the actual fight. The fans here were amazing. So if I get the opportunity to fight in the UK again, I'd love to take the opportunity to come back.
So obviously a big win for Darren Till as well in the main event. Considering who he beat, he may very well have jumped you in the rankings. Is that a fight that would be interesting for you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think I've shown at this point that who I fight is not really a matter to me. When Sean Shelby called and said, hey, Neil, I have a fight for you, the answer is usually yes. I mean, unless I'm injured, the answer is always going to be yes. So if that ends up being the fight that comes through for me, I'll gladly take it, whether it's here, whether it's in the U.S., wherever it may be. It's just up to Sean Shelby and see what he says.
And did you have a chance to see the fight? And if so, what did you think of it?
Yeah, it was a great fight. I was pretty impressed with it. For him to go out there and outstrike one of the best strikers that this division have ever seen so far, I think it was a pretty impressive statement on his end. So I was impressed with it. He did a great job tonight.
And just to touch up on the Kamaru Usman thing as well, what did you think of his fight with Maya?
That's hard to say. I mean, I fought Maya in the past, and I got a little too aggressive against Maya. I couldn't play as patient as he has, and we saw how my fight against Maya went. So I can't critique the guy too much for fighting Maya the way that he did. He did exactly what he needed to get the win.
Thank you.
There's an expression out there that nice guys always finish last. And are you the exception to that rule? Because everything you've done since arriving here goes to the nice guy image without question, even when you're in the cage. How do you reconcile the difference between you in the cage and you outside the cage?
It's just it carries over 24/7. I mean, I'm one of the hardest working guys out there, and I think that's what carries over to the cage when I'm in there and fighting. I'm not going to be outworked by anyone in the division, no matter what happens. So I think that's what allows me to be different from anyone else. Just that strong work ethic that I bring to the table.
And you don't talk a lot of trash. You've never talked trash. Again, do you feel that just being you is enough for the public in terms of making you a star? Do you feel like being honest and being you is the key to your success?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, this is my 19th UFC appearance tonight. So even though I might not be as vocal as some of these other guys, to make 19 walks down to the UFC octagon, you have to be doing something right to do that. So I'll continue to do it my way, continue to slowly climb to the top, and just knock them out as they come, knock them down as they come.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there any specific date or event you would like to face Kamaru Usman on?
So it's at this point, the only date that I probably can fight him is July 12th. I'm getting married on that date, but if he wants to fight me July 7th or after my wedding and honeymoon's over with, I'll gladly fight him then. But just July 12th is the one date that I can fight.
One more thing, Jorge Masvidal was asking for a fight with you in Liverpool. Have UFC offered you a fight with him right there?
No. I mean, it's a good opportunity to nip that in the bud. I mean, I know there's a lot being said of us that I was ducking or I was dodging, whatever it may be. The fact of the matter is he reached out via social media to try to take the fight. He couldn't make weight. The UFC said no. I had no control of it. It was shot down from the moment he said he couldn't make weight. It had nothing to do with me at all.
You were obviously matched up with Gunnar Nelson originally. What was your reaction when you obviously found out that he was going to be out? And is that still a fight that interests you maybe later down the line?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a bummer that I couldn't get the fight against Gunnar Nelson. I mean, this is the third time that he and I were matched to go against each other. And due to injuries, it fell through. But at the end of the day, I was just grateful that I was still healthy and able to go out there and compete. And just kind of wish him the best and hope him a quick recovery. All done. Going once, going twice. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Guys, safe traveling wherever you're traveling to. Thank you very much.
All right. The gate was 1.3 million. It's the highest grossing sporting event in the arena's history. The performance, we did 4 performance of the nights instead of a fight, no fight of the night. We did Tom Breeze, Stewart, Silva, and Allen. Those guys all got $50,000, so congratulations to them. Who's got the first question? What's up, buddy?
Not much. Was that a tough call on the bonuses? First of all, that Amirkhani and Knight fight was pretty entertaining as well.
Yeah, I agree. It always sucks. It's never fun doing the bonuses.
Let's talk about the main event. Internet's blowing up right now. Everybody's debating, how'd you have it school?
My phone's blowing up. Everybody's texting me. Robbery, Till won, this and that. So it's one of after the fight, they all looked at me and said, who do you think won? I said, I have no idea. Every round was so close. When you have rounds that are so close, you almost sort of lose track of scoring and trying to figure out who won. It was a tough fight to score.
Darren Till seems like a star in the making. I mean, undefeated. He's got kind of that X factor. Obviously, it was great in Liverpool this week, but the weight issue, certainly a big issue. So, give me an idea.
That's only happened one time.
Right.
It happened one time, and he has an excuse for it, but I'll let him tell you why it happened and what went on. I don't think it's my place to talk about it. So I'll let him tell you when he comes in.
Okay, so that would be my question, because obviously he looks in line for a big fight. He wants big names. You do feel comfortable with him that, hey, he can make welterweight, and we can use this kid?
I do.
Hey, Dana, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you. What about, he's been talking about wanting to bring a stadium fight to the UK. He's obviously got a lot of heat behind him. He's a tremendous young man. But there's a history of our best fighters going over to Vegas, going over to America.
He's going to Vegas next, buddy. I hate to break your heart, but he's going to Vegas next. Yeah, I don't know when or where when or who he'll fight, but probably bring him to Vegas next.
So it's not a title fight next. He hasn't earned that yet.
I don't know. We'll see. Right? I don't make fights the night of the fights. So off the top of my head, I have nothing for you.
Do you have the feeling that it's going to be a groundswell of Brits travelling over like the Irish travelled for McGregor, like they did for Ricky Hatton? He's got that kind of working man, blue-collar feel about him. Do you know this guy is going to bring lots of people to America?
I don't know that, but I wanted to do this fight here. It's what I wanted. You ask any of my matchmakers, they'll tell you this is the fight that I wanted really bad. And, the atmosphere, nobody supports their people, man, like the English and the Irish. It's incredible. It's very cool to see. It's fun. I mean, the soccer game yesterday is for these two events back to back, and the amount of people, and it's so cool to come over here. We have a whole setup now at the UFC where I can run the shows right from the office. I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm going to England, man. I want to be there in Liverpool for this fight. I wasn't missing this for nothing.
Finally, you came to Liverpool. Are you going to come back here again?
Yes, we will be back to Liverpool again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hiya.
Hi.
Craig White took the co-main event slot on, I think it was 12 days' notice. Obviously, it didn't go his way, but what's his future in the UFC?
Yeah, I don't know. He took this fight on short notice. We'll definitely give him another opportunity. I love that. I love when guys step up like that, and we appreciate him. And he'll be back. Tonight, he's in his home country. It's tough enough getting those UFC jitters the first time. So let him shake them out and give him another opportunity to come in and perform again.
And Neil Magny says that he wants Kamaru Usman next. Is that a fight that interests you?
I am interested in that fight. And you know what? The thing is that Neil Magny is a great guy who always steps up and delivers, and we have a lot of respect for him. So we'll see. I don't know if Usman is going to be next, but we're going to give him something he wants. I get where he's going with that, so we'll get him going in the right direction.
We got UFC Hamburg scheduled on July. We got UFC Moscow for September. Are you planning to make a fifth UFC event in 2018?
That I don't know yet. We're going to get over there and do Moscow, see how it goes, and then go from there. I'm looking forward to that one too.
There was talk of you having a meeting with Conor McGregor in Liverpool. Was that supposed to take place at this event, or was that a behind closed doors event?
I thought that was going to be the first question I got when I walked in here. I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah. The slow build-up.
Yeah. Conor and I are going to meet in Vegas.
You're going to meet in Vegas?
Yeah.
And what is the situation with you two? Are you on good terms at the moment, or is that to be decided when you meet?
Yeah, I mean, he and I haven't seen each other since New York, so we haven't seen each other, we haven't talked, nothing, so we need to get together soon.
I mean, I've been hearing he's been in training. Are your thoughts right now on getting a fight booked with him before the year is over? Is that something that fans can expect?
It depends on what goes on with him in New York in June.
Okay. Cheers.
There are 4 Italians now in UFC, and
hi.
There are 4 Italians now in UFC. Do you think that could be something, an event maybe next year in Italy?
In Italy?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know,
Italians now.
we're starting to get some Italian guys now, so Lorenzo Fertitta's probably happy. He's been waiting for that for 20 years. But yeah, I would love to do an event in Italy. Would love to. And to do these events in these different markets, you can go there without having, you know, people from that area. But man, it helps. It helps when you have some good fighters, some good talent from the area. And we're starting to get some guys. So yeah, cool.
First of all, Darren, thank you for bringing a great event over to the UK again.
Thank you.
Obviously, the success of tonight, would you consider showing, obviously, different cities with someone like Tom Breeze being from Birmingham? Would you consider going to a city like that?
You got to slow down, my man. Would I be interested in what? Something with Tom Breeze?
So you got Tom Breeze, who's obviously from Birmingham.
Yeah, look great. Look great tonight. It's good to have him back.
Would you consider going to Birmingham again?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yes.
So, Dana, you said that a lot is to be decided of Conor's career depending on how things happen in June.
Well, we can't determine anything about what's next for him until June is cleared up.
If ideal scenario, things go smoothly. Everyone's talking about Khabib versus Conor. Would that, you know, like I said, fingers crossed, things go as planned. Is that a plan for you?
I'm pretty confident that that is the fight that Conor wants, and I'm pretty confident that that is the fight that Khabib wants. So, yeah, I could see that happening.
And got to ask as well, last time we saw Alexander Gustafsson, he looked phenomenal. There was the fight with Rockhold was supposed to be happening. That's off the table now, it seems. What do you see for a future for Gustafsson? He's so close, but not.
No, we have to get him another opponent. Yeah, we're going to keep him on that card and get him another opponent. Yeah, Rockhold screwed up his shin, so.
And, you know, just off the top of your head, who would that opponent be?
No clue. No clue right now.
Okay.
That's what I got to work on when I get home.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Dana.
Yeah.
Right here in front of you. The ESPN deal. So if you had all the potential broadcast partners on the list, was ESPN and all their platforms number one on that list for you?
Obviously, if you look at, you know, ESPN wouldn't cover us, you know, not too long ago, and now we're on ESPN. We're in business with Disney. It's probably the most monumental thing that has happened in the history of this company, in the history of the sport, for everyone. It's big. I don't care how you're involved in this sport, this deal that we just cut is big.
So we're going to get 42 events next year.
Right.
What about UFC Fight Pass? Will we see any events from the UFC on Fight Pass?
Yeah, you know, the ESPN deal is just in the United States.
Right.
So, yeah, Fight Pass is the rest of the world.
Right, okay. But will there be any kind of, I suppose, Fight Pass exclusive events? That's probably what I meant.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And, you know, look, you know, it's been nice to get 2 events here in England this year.
I agree.
Both in London and in Liverpool.
Yep.
Moving forward, is that something that perhaps we can expect? You know, you've got, Bisping still perhaps has one more fight left in him. Darren Till now is probably going to be the next big star to carry and be the face of the promotion here in the UK. What can, I suppose, fans and people expect for the UFC's plans specifically here in the UK?
Yeah, you know, this has always been a very important market to me. And since day one, this was one of the no-brainers for me. And the sport has grown incredibly here, and we have a lot of stars coming out of this place now. It's, you know, we're going to continue to do what we do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dana, you've been a big boxing guy for a long time now, and there are a lot of rumours going around that you've been in discussions with the likes of Mikey Garcia with the launch of Zuffa Boxing. Is there any truth to that? And how serious are you looking to become a promoter in the boxing game?
Yeah, no, that is true. And Mikey and I have got together a few times, and I like him a lot, and he likes us, and you know, we'll see what happens. I have obviously been crazy busy on this television deal. You know, we were the clock was ticking. We were down to like 7 months right now until we moved from Fox to ESPN. So that thing was a huge priority. We had to get that thing done, and then that'll free up some time for me to focus on other stuff that I want to do.
Would that affect your status with the UFC? Because it seems like you're running on short time as it is. You know, you can't.
You got that right, brother.
You need to fit more hours in the day.
Oh, you're right. That is a great observation. No, so what would happen is, what I would do is I would get it going, and I would put somebody else in there to run it.
Was the rumours of you, because there were initial rumours of you going over to Cardiff for the Anthony Joshua Joseph Parker fight.
Yeah.
Over you discussing a deal with Eddie Hearn in some capacity.
Yeah.
How come that didn't happen?
What happened was the last couple months I've had some bad health issues with my ear.
Yeah.
So I was dealing with that. That's why I couldn't make the flight over to England that time. And I was talking to them, and then you know, Eddie Hearn ended up landing that you know, big TV deal, and
it seems like it's going to be the battle of the billionaires at the moment. 'Cause he's just struck $1 billion deal himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, and that's great. It's great for the sport of boxing. It's great for him. I'm not looking to come in and steal anybody from, you know. I'm another guy who can offer some money, and you know, if anything, it's great for the boxers, you know, and. You know, I'd said many times that I thought he was the most marketable guy in the world. Good-looking kid, you know, big, strong guy, and you know, Eddie Hearn handled his business and you know, got him straight. So it's all good. I'm not out there trying to steal anybody from anybody.
And finally, as ever with the case of CM Punk, there is always controversy not far away from that conversation. Alistair Overeem has been demoted to the prelims of the Chicago card.
He was demoted. If that's the way you want to look at him being demoted, what is Rashad Evans? What is?
No, I completely agree.
Pettis
completely agree.
I mean, there's guys on that could be on the main card that are on the Fight Pass prelims.
It just seemed that he was the most vocal about his disappointment in that case.
Hey, listen, when Alistair Overeem sells as many pay-per-views as CM Punk does, we can argue.
If CM Punk loses, it's game over, right? Surely.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Right here, Dana.
Hey.
Hey. Matt Spurnell, he fought against Arden Allen and was pretty much ahead on points all up.
He was definitely ahead on points.
Yeah. What did you think about his performance?
It was great.
Yes.
Right up until he got choked.
So you looked very good up until then, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward, he's 1 and 2 in the UFC. Will he get another crack in the UFC, or is this it for him?
No, he looked good tonight. He got caught. It happens in this sport. He looked good.
Another question, Yair Rodriguez recently got cut from the UFC, and you talked about him refusing 2 fights. But can you elaborate a little more on the situation and why you decided to cut one of the prospects of the UFC?
Yeah, because we offered him fights. He turned down the fights. You know, there was a lot more back and forth that went on with that. If you don't want to fight, this isn't the place to be. There's plenty of places out there that'll take Yair Rodriguez and would love to have him, and we'll sign him, and I'm sure he'll have a great career. This isn't the place for you.
Is the door open for him to come back maybe in the future?
I don't know. We'll see.
Thank you.
When I call you and offer you a fight, you should probably take it. You should probably take it. I make 42 fights a year. And if you don't want to fight and you want to be picky and choosy and you don't want to do this and you don't want to do that, then you probably need to go somewhere else. And I'll help you get there.
Dana, over here.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yep.
Hi. Dana, just going back to what you were saying about Anthony Joshua, how serious was the $500 million offer being rumoured at the time that you were willing to offer Anthony Joshua? Was that serious?
Was that what?
Was that a serious offer of $500 million?
I never made him an offer ever.
So where did the $500 million quote come from?
Thin air.
Okay.
I never made him an offer ever. We were supposed to meet. We never met. We never talked money. We never did anything.
Are those sort of numbers that could have been used to prize Anthony Joshua away from Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, though?
If what? Say that again?
Are those the sort of numbers that it would have taken to take Anthony Joshua away from Matchroom and Eddie Hearn?
Oh, I don't know. That isn't even really the kind of deal I was looking to structure. Because when we talked, he had told me that he was going to stay with Eddie Hearn. He told me he was going to stay with Eddie. He was never going to get rid of Eddie Hearn. And that was never the plan. It was never like I was trying to move in and steal him from Hearn. The deal is that I felt that we could add a lot of value to them in the United States. So we could cut some kind of a deal for the U.S. You know, he's big in England. Everybody knows who he is in England. And I have the machine to make him big in the United States. That was the plan.
With the deal Eddie Hearn has with DAZN, this $1 billion deal, is it something that you'll look to perhaps work with Eddie with?
Yeah, you know, listen, I've worked with Heyman. There's a lot of guys that I would love to work with in the boxing business. Bob Arum isn't one of them, but there's a lot of other guys out there that I would. Yeah.
This is the last couple questions over there.
Can I get it?
Dana, obviously Darren Till is the guy who's going to grab all the headlines this weekend. But it was a bit of a tricky weekend for him with the weight cut issues and all the things that happened leading into the fight. Talk to us about Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and how he conducted himself during that process and your dealings with him and his camp during that tricky spell. Because he could have been quite within his rights to have said, do you know what? I'm not going to take this fight now.
Absolutely. He absolutely could have. And him, his father, his camp, all absolute professionals, and I have nothing but respect for them. They, believe me, there's plenty of guys on this roster that would have bailed on that fight, and you know, I have a ton of respect for him, and obviously we'll do everything we can to give him what he wants and in his next fight.
What do you think might, obviously without naming names, because you don't do that in press conferences, but he fought, he's number one contender, fought a guy lower in the rankings than him, and has lost a decision. There's an interim title fight doing the rounds. There's obviously Tyron as a world champion. What do you think the next logical move is for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson now after today?
There's still a lot of guys in that division that we'll see where he ends up in the rankings, but there's still a ton of guys for him to fight in there. And he lost twice to the champ, so he's it's one of those situations where, he got to take on all comers. He doesn't have a title shot lined up anytime soon. And but now that he's fought this fight, he could fight another one of these guys and get right back to the top again immediately. He's talented enough.
One more from me. You've got an active champion in Tyron Woodley who's looking to come back. You've got an interim title fight in the makings that's coming up soon. Is the plan to convert that interim title into a unified title, or are you going to give that a bit of a life of itself as well and try and perhaps look at Darren as a potential interim champion and stick him in there with the winner of that fight?
I honestly don't know right now. Right now, get home, play out the rest of this month, see what happens in these fights that are coming up, and then we'll figure out what's next for Till and for Wonderboy. Cool?
Just one last one from me. Down at the front here, Dana. To your right.
Hey.
Have you spoken to Darren or Stephen since the fight? I'm wondering if they talked to you about the decision at all, or what do you plan to say to Darren? Because obviously he's had a hell of a week.
No, not yet. I haven't. I just saw Till out there doing his interviews, and I congratulated him, but I haven't seen Wonderboy yet. And I'm sure because there's so much controversy over the decision both ways. I'm sure I can assume what side they're feeling right now. He got the hometown decision, but there were a lot of messed up decisions on this card tonight. I mean, some of the scores on some of these fights were absolutely ridiculous. So I have to have Ratner take a look at that when we get back to Vegas, some of these scores tonight. But I honestly, I always tell you guys the truth, good or bad, and it always gets me in shit with the fighters. But at the end of the fight, I honestly didn't know. I was like, I don't know, man, this fight can go either way. All the rounds were so close, and when your style is counterpunching, and both guys were sort of counterpunching, but Till did keep moving forward the entire fight and was pressing the action, and there's so many different things, and people judge in different ways. So, it's a tough fight to score.
Dana, right over here.
Hey, buddy.
Recent development that happened in the MMA world was Chuck Liddell announcing that he's coming out of retirement and possibly working with Oscar De La Hoya.
Right.
I know initially you weren't the biggest fan of such a pairing happening. What's your thoughts now that Chuck has officially announced that he's coming out of retirement?
Well, I said this before. I hope he's coming out of retirement to be partners with De La Hoya and not to fight. I hope he doesn't fight.
And perhaps do you think that Oscar is, what's the word I'm looking for, just taking advantage of Chuck and using him as a big name to make headway into the MMA world?
I don't know if De La Hoya is that smart. Yeah. He isn't the brightest bulb on the porch.
Okay.
Oscar De La Aram is not that bright, but I don't know what he's thinking. Hopefully, Chuck's going to be his business partner and not fight. I don't. Last thing I want to do is shit on Chuck Liddell because I love him, And but I asked him to retire 10 years ago for a reason.
And final one from me. You said that you want to take Darren Hill stateside next to Vegas. Any time frame for that off the top of the head, or?
No. I mean, the kid just fought, so I got to figure out what's next and where and all that stuff. But yeah, I'd like to bring him to Vegas for his next fight.
Perhaps the end of year card, maybe? Or?
Maybe.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. And let me say this, too. Thanks to the fans here. Highest grossing gate in the arena's history. I love coming out here. The energy is unbelievable, and nobody supports their people like you guys do. It's amazing. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Wonder Boy, it was a close fight out there tonight. You know, real tense back and forth throughout the 25 minutes. A lot of controversy. People are debating. They didn't like the scores. You know, who won? Give me your take when you heard the scores read.
You know, I knew it was going to be a close fight, but I thought I had edged it out. You know, he's a big boy, man. He's hard to move around. Didn't move anywhere. Came forward. Tough guy.
Can you talk about how your execution was versus the game plan? I mean, it looked like obviously you didn't want to, you know, necessarily just go toe to toe with them, but you know, kind of ducking in and out, having some success. But talk about kind of what you thought you would need to do and how it executed tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I felt his you know, the weight behind him right off the bat. I mean, he's a big guy, got some big legs, kind of stood there. You know what I mean? Every time I would blitz in, he would just kind of meet me in the middle. So it kept me on my toes. I got a straight in kick to my left knee right off the bat around the first round, so it kept me from moving. And you know, hopefully it's not too messed up. But yeah, man, I mean, disappointed, obviously. Going to go back to the drawing board and see where we go from there.
Tough situation, and then you've been universally praised for being a professional and how you handled everything. But I mean, now that you know you lost and it didn't go your way, is there any part that goes, I shouldn't have gone in there?
Nah, not at all. I mean, even though he didn't make weight, I mean, it's in his hometown. I love being here. I love the fight game. You know, I love to put on a show for everybody that came out. You know, and for the people who helped get me here. So this is what I do, baby. This is what I do.
And last thing for me, Dana was just here, and of course, you know, he said he appreciates what you did, and you know, he said, listen, whatever Wonder Boy wants next, we'll get it for him. I know it's incredibly early right now, but do you know what that might be? Date, location, name? I mean, what does make sense for you moving forward after this result?
You know, I don't know, man. I want to see what happens with the RDA and Colby Covington fight, and we'll go from there. So we'll talk to my coaches and see who's next, but those two is what I'm looking at.
Stephen, just over here.
What's up, buddy?
How, in that fifth round, how hurt were you, or were you just dazed for a minute?
Yeah, I was dazed for a minute. I was definitely going all the way down. Just smoked me right on the back of the head here. I went down, been hit there before, but recovered well. Got right back up to my feet. So I didn't go out. It just kind of, my legs gave out a little bit, and that was it. So, you know, it staggered me a little bit, but I didn't black out or anything, you know? But yeah, man, I mean, I finished the round okay, I thought. But thank goodness I was blessed with a hard head.
Stephen, when you entered, just here at the front, Stephen, when you entered the cage tonight, there was a lot of heavy boos going in there. Can you talk to me what that was like for you as a fighter?
To be honest, I couldn't help but smile. I mean, it's cool going into enemy territory and being the bad guy, because, you know, when you think of the bad guy, you don't think of me. But it was cool, man. I knew they were out there. No matter what the outcome of the fight, I was going to leave with some fans tonight, and I did that. But it was pretty cool, to be honest with you. I didn't feel like they hated me. I just felt like they were in for their boy. You know, that's their boy. He's from Liverpool, and you know, it's expected. So I thought it was pretty intense.
In terms of the rowdiness of the crowd, how does that compare to all the audiences you've competed across in your career?
Nothing like it, man. The crowd gets so involved. They're so amped up in Liverpool. Would love to come back and do it again.
Stephen, you've been in there with some of the very best in the world. How does Darren Till rate as a fighter, having gone 5 rounds with him?
You know, he's very good. He's a good fighter. I expected him to be a little bit more aggressive than he was tonight. I didn't think, you know, he was doing a lot of waiting. He did come to me a little bit. You know, every time I'd blitz in, he stood there right in front of me. So he was a big guy. I knew I couldn't back him up, you know. So I had to kind of play the game, so to speak. Landed a good shot in the first round on my knee, which kept me from moving, kind of doing what I really wanted to do out there, especially throwing my kicks. Felt kind of wobbly standing on it, so I didn't. That kind of took me out of the game a little bit. But he's a good fighter, very tough guy.
You came into this as a #1 contender. You were kind of assessing the rest of the division, where you would perhaps move on after this. Now you fought Darren. Where do you feel that Darren slots in amongst those guys at the top of the division?
I don't know, man, to be honest with you. I mean, he is a tough guy. Are there better strikers out there, better MMA fighters? I think so, in the top 10. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I think he'll, you know, have to prove it again to work his way up. But in my eyes, he's definitely a very talented guy.
And final one from me. What was your overall experience of fighting in the UK?
Oh, I loved
dealing
it.
with the British fans?
I loved it, man. The fans, as soon as I stepped off the plane, the fans have been nothing but amazing, very welcoming. Of course, I knew it was going to be different tonight, but even with that, even hearing that, it didn't bother me one bit, It was pretty cool. Even after the fight, everybody was like, man, thanking me for taking the fight, going with it, when most of the guys probably wouldn't have gone out there and done it, especially being number 1 and him being number 8 and then not making weight. But, I came all the way out here to put on a show for everybody here, and I was going to do that.
Hello, Steven. 2 judges made on the scorecard 49-46. I would like to ask, what do you think about 4-1 in rounds scoring for Darren?
I thought I had 4 of the rounds. Could be controversial 3 maybe, I don't know, but I felt like I would hit and move, but the only really good shot he had in was that one shot in the 4th or 5th round. But other than that, man, it was pretty close. But I felt comfortable out there. I realized how big he was, so I knew how to stay on my bike and keep moving.
Hi. The hesitation when it comes to taking this fight or not after Darren not making weight, how long time did it take, and was it a hard decision?
You know what? I didn't have to really think about it at all. My coaches, that's what they're there for. I just wanted to focus on the fight and let the coaches and everybody handle that. My coaches and my managers, they take very good care of me. So I knew they would make the best decision. Of course, they came to me and said, "You want to do it?" I'm like, "Heck yeah!" I'm here in Liverpool. I'm here to fight, so let's do it. I didn't really take much thinking on my part. All right, thank you guys.
Hello.
Darren, congratulations on your victory this evening. I know this is a moment that you were dreaming about for a long time and envisioning. The atmosphere was certainly electric in there tonight. Give me an idea of just how the moment played out versus your expectations.
I think I've done everything right. Choosing my walkout music to get my people in that type of mindset, cheering, chanting. I just had to take a moment before I actually stepped in the octagon to just be like, oh, this is my moment, So it was a very proud moment for me coming from Liverpool as well.
Very nice. Internet's going crazy right now. Fans, media, everybody's trying to debate the score and what it was. Give me an idea. I mean, were you and your team scoring it round by round? How did you have it going? What did you think when it came time to read the decision?
Listen, it's a close fight. It was a close fight. People are going to want to say that he won, and people say that I won. I couldn't care less. I got the decision. It was a really, really close fight. He's the most trickiest fighter I've ever fought. I think he was shocked because he thought I'm an aggressive fighter, and I am. But I knew against him I had to be very different and use all my smarts. So it was a hard fight. Very close, very close.
And lastly, for me, I mean, you've been incredibly apologetic about missing weight, but you haven't really talked about it much. And I don't know if you didn't want to get into it before the fight, but Dana was in here earlier and he said, "Listen, I'm not upset. He has an excuse. He knows what happened. I mean, there was a very good reason. Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. That's for him to talk about." I mean, can you help us understand? I mean, I know some of it may be personal, but because I think everybody's just trying to understand exactly what happened, why you came in, needed extra time and then missed by so much.
I think the thing is, mate, I'm not one to sit here and make excuses no matter what happened. I missed weight. I can't do anything about it. I missed weight. the night of having to cut weight, I had some problems to attend to whilst cutting weight, so I attended to them. But listen, there's no fucking excuse for missing weight. I missed weight, and it is what it is. I know people are going to want to throw around now like, oh, you know, he still took the fight. It was 3 fucking pounds. We're fighters here, it was 3 pounds. And listen, I'm not trying to like make out that I'm the good person here, but it was 3 pounds. Stephen was going to take the fight no matter what. 3 pounds. No, it's his coaches and management to then look after him as best, and that's what they done. They made me weigh in it, you know, the day very light, and they took 30%, and that's what comes with not making weight. I never made weight. No excuses. Do you know what I mean? But it's not like it changed anything in the fight. 3 pounds won't change nothing. It doesn't matter. If I'd made weight, no one would have said anything. But I didn't make weight, and I'm truly embarrassed by it. There's no excuses. I didn't make weight.
Darren, you said in the cage after the fight that you didn't necessarily deserve a title shot next. How far away do you think you are now?
I couldn't care less, mate. I think Stephen deserves I go with the interim more than I do myself. I know, you know, I've just beat him in a close fight, but give it to Stephen. He made weight, and he's still number one and beat some more guys than me. So give it to him. Listen, mate, I'm a realist. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit anyone. I'm never going to bullshit myself. I'm certainly not going to bullshit you. So give it to Stephen. I'm just going to go and train. You know, I'm going to go on the air this week, and then I'm going to train Monday.
You changed up your walkout music.
Yeah.
It worked.
Of course.
Have you found something that you're going to stick with now? And what was the thought process behind changing it?
No, I might not change it. I don't know. I'm not like a superstitious guy. I don't think, I have to have the same. I know some fights think everything has to be the same, but I just knew for that type of crowd, that type of tune would work, and I know that all you guys seen it here. I don't think scenes like that, they've only been seen before in Dublin, I suppose. So, you know, I looked over at one point and Dana had a big smile on his face. So I feel like I was very intelligent with my walkout music, and I wanted to have a good moment. It's never been to Liverpool, so.
Dana says he's taking you to Vegas next.
Well, we'll see. I want to bring it to Anfield. So, why? America's amazing. I've never fought there. The pay-per-views are in, we all know, Las Vegas and Madison Square Garden. But why can't I be the guy to bring the UFC to an arena, a stadium, here in England, here in Liverpool? Why can't I do that? Who's telling me I can't? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter who you are. I'll say fuck you, and I don't care. To me, I want a stadium event to happen, a pay-per-view at Anfield. I've had the dream of the Echo. That's been done now. Now it's Anfield. So, you know, Dana's the boss, but manifestation, that's what it's all about.
Darren, congratulations on a very composed performance after a difficult couple of days. Just going back over that point that Simon mentioned there about Dana, he categorically said you're going to America next.
Yeah.
He's just been in here. We've seen great occasions, though, when British fighters have gone to Vegas, and there is clearly about 10,000 people that would travel over there with you, and it goes down in history in America. And it's strange to hear you say you are going to refuse it from them.
No, I'm not going to refuse it. If Dana says, Darren, you're fighting in Vegas, I say, okay. But I'll try and convince him. I'll say, listen, you know, believe in me as I believe in myself. And yeah, 10,000 might travel over there, but 65,000 will fill Anfield, you know, in the ground and sitting and seats, maybe more. So I know I can fill that shit out, trust me.
Is the title shot not the one in Enfield, though?
Maybe, but listen, I'm not going to sit here and say, for starters, I missed weight, so I don't feel like I deserve a title shot. Anyway, I missed weight. So there you go, right away. I don't deserve the next shot at the title. Still feel that Stephen probably deserves it. Maybe whoever wins out of the interim, maybe Stephen or Usman, they deserve it more. I've just said this. I'm a fucking realist, and I'll always stay this way. I still want to beat them all in the division. You know, I want to come back. I want to put that weight thing behind me. And it is what it is. But I'll try and speak to Dana. I'll convince him as best as I can. You know, with me nice little Scouse charm, and see where it goes.
Final one from me. In the last kind of 24, 48 hours, can you just say a few words about Mr. Cabon, Colin Heron, what he's done for you to keep everything together?
Colin doesn't say much. Colin doesn't have to keep anything together. Colin just says little pieces and little words of wisdom, and it just motivates you and keeps you positive. He's a phenomenal man. Without Colin, none of this happens, you know what I mean? And Colin is the main fucking man. Where is he? All right, cool.
Darren, you mentioned how you thought that Stephen would anticipate that you'd come out the aggressor in the fight.
I'm fucking roasting you, I'm sorry.
It's all right, feel
Don't look at me fat belly, I didn't make weight.
Yeah, so he anticipated that you would come out as the aggressor during this fight.
Yeah.
What actually happens is you outstruck him in a really technical stand-up fight. Is your goal when you step into the octagon to show how diverse you are as a martial artist every time you get in there?
Good game plan, innit? I said I was going to finish him in the first, and through the rounds I could see him thinking, why isn't this little bastard running at me? And I had it all figured out. As much as it was me trying to figure him out and him trying to figure me out, it was crazy. It was Muay Thai versus karate. You know, he tried to take me down at one point, and I stuffed it with me and got back up. But I was trying to figure him out as much as he was trying to me. I was faking the left, but I wasn't throwing the left. I wasn't wasting no energy with it because I knew he wouldn't be there. He's so good with his head where he goes, and sometimes when I had him on the octagon, I'd open my hands up, you know, to make him think that I'm bigger than what I am. That's what I try and do. But listen, it was 5 rounds of each other. I said this, I put a tweet out there after the big Cowboy. I said what a chess match it would be. And it was, because as the people said, everyone's debating on Twitter. You know, I'm not on Twitter, but I can imagine that I'm getting hated on for missing weight. And, you know, 50% are saying him and 50% are saying me. I won the fight. I did win the fight, but it was close as ever.
He makes guys, when he's at his best, Stephen Thompson, he really does make guys freeze up in there. With the fight with Rory McDonald being a key example of that. Was that a fight that you studied going into this one?
I don't study fights, mate. I study my opponent when I'm in there. That's what Colin's for, Mr. Carbon. When I get in there, I feel it and how it's going. If I felt like the finish was there in the first, I definitely would have went for it, but it wasn't. He's too fucking clever for that. Everyone who's fought him knows. Woodley's had 10 rounds of him. He's too clever for that shit. You can't lunge in on a guy like Stephen. He didn't hurt me with anything, you know. I think I poked his knee in the first, but like, you know, I tried to be do a bit of karate myself, but I'm shit at it. So, but he's too clever for that shit. In the gym, it's different. You know, we're not in a fight, but in a fight, you've got to be very calm and collected. And I think I've just shown maturity in fighting years. There, I'm only 25, but I was very mature. He's 10 years my older.
During the post-fight speech, I'm not going to repeat what you said, but you did say something along the lines of who is
cunts.
No, not that one. Okay. You said something along the line of who is Darren Till. Now, is the doubters out there, are they a key motivation for you in terms of rising to the occasion on events such as this?
Yeah, no, I don't wake up every morning, you know, thinking who's a hater or this or what. Every morning I wake up and I want to do me coach proud and myself. Listen, I'm in this for myself. I start out as a fighter to be the best for myself, not no one. You know, when you hear fighters talking, they're like, my goals have changed because I've got a daughter and that. Well, you're wrong, mate. It's got to be for yourself. You've got to do it for yourself, you know, and I'm doing it all for myself. As much as I'm doing it for them people, it's all about me. And yeah, I fucking hate doubters. I hate them with a passion. I especially hate the fighters and that they doubt me. You know, I think every fighter in the UFC that they went to predicted Wonderboy would win. Well, fuck yous. Look, now, yeah, it was a close fight, but I still showed me worth. You know, maybe now just stop doubting me a little bit less. You know, and there's no disrespect to Stephen. I've just said I still think he deserves a title shot more than me, and I've just beat him, but I just don't like getting doubted. I don't want people saying this kid just come on the block and he thinks he's this and that. I don't. I just say I'm the greatest because I believe I am. That's all.
With you continuing to stack up the wins and your profile keep rising, you're undoubtedly going to become a role model. You probably are already a role model in the city. Your language is undeniably colourful. Do you feel like sometimes you might have to tone that down a bit?
No, it's a word. It's just a word, right? It's expressive to how passionate I am. And you know, every time I'm going for interviews, Till, can you not say this and not say that? And I say, maybe, I don't know. And then it comes out like Tourette's. So
do you not think that TV network stations are going to be like absolutely bricking it when you're going to be coming into studios now?
Maybe, but they got a choice. They can have me on or not. It's no skin off my nose. I don't want to be a celebrity, or I don't. You know, you can give me an interview, you can't. I don't care. But it's just I'm just so passionate. For me. It's just I'm so passionate about it, and I don't think when you know I swear words coming out of me, I shouldn't say this. I'm just passionate, and that's what comes out of me. And maybe I might have to tone it down, but I'm not going to. Cunt. Oh, sorry.
Hi, Darren. One of the parts of the agreement for making the fight happen after you missed weight was you making 188 pounds just right before the event. Was it a challenge for you?
Yeah, it was, because I've got the type of body. I don't know what it is. As soon as I'd missed weight, I started hydrating again, and my weight just shot right back up. I went back to, I think in kilos, I went to 88, and I had to weigh in at 85.2. So that was the night going to bed. So last night I had to starve myself and not drink. And this morning, didn't I, Colin? I went and trained. So I went in the gym and done 45 minutes hard training. This is how much I wanted to fight, but I say it again, I'm not going to stop. There's no excuse for missing weight, and I'm truly ashamed by it. I don't like it. I feel like my win could be a little bit more right now if I'd made weight. I'm taking a bit off. No matter what, win, lose or draw, I'm still taking a bit off because I'm ashamed by it. I am a professional man, and as I've said, I'm a big guy for the weight, and I've got to get it more under control. And I've made weight before. I made 170. I had a Coke before my last fight, my last weigh-in, but just got to get it more under control now. It's just another thing, and adversity, bad or good, I'll face it.
Did you feel any inconveniences inside the octagon because of this 188 limit?
Yeah, I did, but I just don't care. Honestly, I just do not care what happens. Honestly, I just don't care. When I'm inside the octagon, it's all blank. It's all different for me. Nothing affects me. Nothing affects me. So, yeah, I said to my coach before I was going, I said, I've got an headache. I said, I feel a bit tired. I said, I don't feel, the same. But when I'm in there, it's all that confidence that I've got, and I know I'm confident.
So, Darren, this is a big sports weekend for Liverpool, but Real beat Madrid, and then Molly lost her fight.
Yeah.
Almost made it so that all the expectations and hopes were laid solely on you. Was that something you were thinking about and feeling on your way into the fight?
No, I don't care. I don't care. It's me who steps in there. It's not Liverpool football team. It's unfortunate that in a debut Molly lost. Sorry about that, but it's an individual sport, and I was just going in there. And for me, whatever will happen, will happen. If I go in there in 10 seconds and Stephen knocks me clean out, then it's happened. I'm not a guy. I don't care. I'll come back from it. I'll come back from anything. I know I will. I'm only young, and I've got the determination and grit to come back from anything in this world, no matter what happens.
And in that fifth round, you had him knocked down. It looked really close to a finish.
Fourth. It was fourth, wasn't it? Was it the fourth? Fifth?
Fifth, yeah.
I've lost my head.
What was going through your mind when you saw that? Did you feel like the finish was close? And
yeah and no, because Woodley had him knocked down a few times. Stephen recovers very quick because he's very fit and this and that. Listen, this fight for me wasn't about finishing Stephen. It was about being more of a smarter fighter, which I feel like I was tonight. So 5 rounds, easy. Wasn't tired. 5 rounds in the bank against, in my opinion, still the number 1 in the world. He's, just said that he still deserves more of an interim title shot than I do. So, hats off to him.
And as you mentioned, it was a very close fight, and we did actually see some very controversial scoring earlier in the night. Even Dana mentioned that he felt some of the scoring was very off. Were you at all worried once they were reading up the judge's decision that he would get it?
If he was going to get it, he was going to get it. It's simple as that. If he would have got it, he would have got it. And if I would have got it, I would have got it. I've just, I said to him after the fight, I said, we need to do it again. And he said, yeah, definitely. And right now, his coaches are probably in his ear saying that he won the fight. He's probably convincing himself. And, I'm sure I'd do the same. But I won. I know I won. I think I did edge you. Just on how I moved around the octagon. I cut him off. Anything he did throw, it was nullified. It wasn't hitting me. It was defended. So I think it was a close fight, but I do think I won.
And finally, once you actually did get the win official, I mean, the stadium erupted.
Yeah.
It was hurting ears. Can you describe at all what the feeling was like to win in front of your hometown like that?
Not right now, because you're just getting dragged from here, there and everything, and you haven't got a chance to breathe, you know what I mean? Like, I think later on in the week I'll be like, I've just gone 5 rounds with the number 1 in front of my hometown, and I'll look back on interviews and and the way the fans cheered. They're all my friends in there, you know what I mean? Half of that arena, I could see them, they were all my friends. So, yeah, it's sort of one of them moments you have to live it when it's done. Right now, it's all like that to me. And there's a lot of goods, there's a lot of ups and a lot of downs. You know, obviously the down is me missing weight, but still, shit happens.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Darren, over here. You spoke obviously about the atmosphere tonight, but how do you remain to stay calm in a situation like that? And do you block out the crowd? Were you aware of the crowd during the fight?
Yeah, I was definitely aware, but as short as my career has been in MMA, when I was only a kid, I was off travelling all around the world on my own, you know, with my backpack, fighting anywhere I could. I've fought in Malaysia, fought in Canada, Thailand, so many places, you know. So I'm just a calm, collected fighter. I like nerves. I don't have to get myself angry at anything because that's not my way to fight. You know, I know some fighters, for example, should we say Diego Sanchez has to get really angry before a fight. For me, no, it's just all about being calm and being the more intelligent fighter. And you know, Stephen is so intelligent, and tonight I outsmarted him. I did.
And Dana said that he obviously wants to take you to Vegas, but ideally, when would you like to get back in there next?
I haven't got any injuries. I think I broke my toe. I don't know. I can't really feel it. So, but I don't know. Soon. I wanna fight soon. I don't know. I've just said I wanna try and convince Dana to bring Anfield Stadium. So if I have to wait longer while he promoted or whatever. You know, because I'm saying while he promoted, I'm already manifesting this shit. It's already happening in my eyes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, August, September, Darren Till versus someone else, Anfield Stadium. I can already see it happening. That's the key to it, manifestation.
Darren, to your right.
Yes, brother.
You're right now. Obviously, this was one of the craziest fight weeks, I imagine, for you. Can you kind of, I don't know, give us an idea of how difficult it was, and was there ever any time you were mentally in a state where this might not happen?
Maybe when I missed weight and then they were talking about me weighing 188, I was like, that's hard. Not that I'm a guy who goes crazy up because I, you know, eat a lot and hydrate a lot. It's just 188 from 173. It's not a lot of weight. So yeah, I was worried, and then I just thought, you know, I have to train this morning and make that next. I didn't make the first time, I made the second time at 188. So yeah, I was a bit worried at that. But as I said, you know, it's adversity, good or bad, I'll face it. And right now, probably more people are hating on me than liking me. You know, I bet a lot of fighters are jumping on that bandwagon to hate on me, and that just shows their weakness in my eyes. You know what I mean? It is a part of it. Fighters have missed weight. You know, just recently, I think Kevin Lee missed weight, and do you know what I mean? It does happen. I'm truly embarrassed by it. But what can you do, mate?
It might be a little difficult for you now just after this win, but I mean, you've had so much time in the spotlight ever since October. Would you like a bit of peace now? Would you like people to perhaps, you know, just give you a few months to deal with it?
I don't know, mate. I get peace when I want peace. You know, I'm not an out there guy. I know I get a lot of attention, and the spotlight is on me in English MMA, should we say? But it's not like a thing that I'll have to say, oh, I'm tired of interviews, or I'm tired of this, or I'm tired of that. I'm not tired of any of it. My mental state gets me through anything. You know, it's going to be a long. I'm 25. I've got 10 years left. It's going to be a long 10 years, and then maybe I will sit back. I don't ever want to sit here and cry because I've done 100 interviews or I've took 5,000 photos. I want to be able to stay strong and do it all.
Just lastly, obviously you manifested this night, as you said plenty of times. You said you were going to bring the UFC to Liverpool. When you were kind of standing in the octagon tonight, was it everything you thought it was going to be?
Yeah. I was looking up at the TV screen, just seeing myself in black shorts, and at that point I wasn't really thinking about the fight. I was like, oh my God, I'm inside here, my nerves have gone. I was like, oh, I just need to look around and enjoy this. And then he was coming out, and I was like, okay, right, let's fight it. But I've just never seen anything like that. I mean, the guy from the Echoes just texted me, and he's like, Darren, we've never seen anything like that in our lives, do you know what I mean? So it's good, mate. It really is good. I'm truly, it's made me emotional. I might start crying. I won't. Don't worry, mate.
Darren, you just beat the #1 contender in the world. And there's no way with the things that have gone on that you can honestly say that you are 100% there 100% of the time for the last 4 days. So you've beat the #1 contender, arguably not at your very best. Maybe my question is more for the coach than for you, but just how much better can you get? Because the potential seems limitless.
My coach did say that. He said, look what you've just done. Didn't you call on against, the #1 and you weren't at your best? But, as much as my coach said that to me, I've just said it. There's never an excuse. It doesn't matter if you're at your worst or your best. To me, the mentality I've got is on fight night, no matter what happens, if I pull a knee or he pulls a knee or whatever, you break hand, the better man always wins in my eyes. I don't want to ever leave a fight going, I should have won that, or I didn't win that because there was this problem or because this problem. Do you know what I mean? I want to leave the fight knowing, well, he beat me. He was the better man. That's the mentality I want to have. That excuse bullshit don't work with me. I fucking hate it. I hate excuses. And that's not me. So tonight, I was the better man. Next time, he could knock me out. He will be the better man. Yeah, this week I've had, a few problems here and there, but nothing's happened. It hasn't changed anything in the fight. It was Darren Till versus Stephen Thompson in there. So you never know. He could be going through things that he hasn't even mentioned about. You just never know what's going on in someone's life, and there's no excuse. Tonight, the better man won. Next time, maybe Stephen might win, or I will win, but it will always be the better man in my eyes.
Darren, for the longest time, Michael Bisping was the face of the UFC here in the UK. He carried the heavy water, so to speak. He's coming to the end of his career. Do you feel as though you can be the face of the promotion here for a long time to come?
Yeah, that would be really. That's nice. That's nice that you're saying that. But I don't think of things like that. I think about being the greatest. That's what I think about. If I'm walking along the street or if people are talking on social media, Darren Till is the face of British MMA. It's nice. I'm only 25. It's nice to have them kind of words thrown at you, but I don't want to see it like that. I want to just, it's different how I want it to be, because they're saying, Bisping is the face of MMA, and what he done was phenomenal. I hope he still has a few more fights, but it's not just one man. Do you know what I mean? It's as much as in Ireland, they say it's just Conor. It's not just him. There's other fighters, and in America there's others. So I don't ever want to just be like, oh, I'm the face of British MMA, because I think that's just a bit too. I think you're getting a bit too big for your boots. Not that Bisping's ever said it, nor will I ever say it. I just think, yeah, if you can inspire a few kids or whatever, because they're looking up to you because you're maybe the most well known, yeah, that's good. But I don't ever want to say I'm the face of British MMA, because there's so many other fighters. We're all fighters. We're all the face. Maybe just some of us get a little bit more of the spotlight, as you said, than others. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I like to see them type of things.
And just one more for me. Did this whole event, the experience, kind of play out how you had envisioned it, or did it almost exceed your expectations?
I think tonight, how I picked my walkout, it exceeded it. As I say, there's a downer on it, missing weight, but apart from that, tonight's fight night, and I just was looking on the screen at everyone walking out, and they were getting cheers, and I was thinking, what's it going to be like when I walk out? And then me tuned the right time I walked out, and then I just seen flashlights, and I seen Scousers. It was just incredible, and they were screaming and chanting, and all the way through the fight I heard Darren Till chants. That's what you get at a football match. You get a football match, they chant, Steven Gerrard, but they were chanting Darren Till. It's crazy. Honest to God, it's unbelievable.
Darren, just over here.
Yeah.
Wonderboy mentioned before that in the first round he did tweak his knee from one of your little oblique kicks.
Yeah.
Was that one of the plans going forward? Did you get a sense of that?
No, I don't. I only plan when I'm in the fight. I only feel what I'm feeling, and I threw that. Just to throw him off a bit. I wanted to be a little bit bouncy myself, because he's very bouncy. He's so fit for 5 rounds. He's just bouncing around like that. It's just so good. You know what I mean? But yeah, he did tweak his knee a bit, and I seen it. I thought, hang on, I'll go for that a bit, but. He was onto it. He changed his stance. He's very good at changing it. Listen, I could be a mathematician right now and talk about both of our styles. I really get into it, but he's so clever. He was able to change his stance, and every time he knew I was going to go for it, he could see it in my eyes, and I could see it. And it was, one of them games, playing chess with each other. But the only difference with this fight was he was not expecting that. I knew what I was expecting. very clever, so good with his kicks, angles, amazing, head movement. He thought he was going to get a 25-year-old who thinks he's huge and just lobs punches. Smart, Darren Till.
Didn't work out that way. So with we've been with like Cowabon and like Cowabon's legendary status from many years ago, as you saw on the like the Fighting Pride documentary from back in the day. Do you think there is like a bit of a rebirth of Cowabon? I know you've got guys like Mike Grundy and stuff who were pretty much ready to be called up to the UFC. Do you think this is still like a bit of a rebirth of you guys?
Yeah, I totally agree. For starters, Michael Grundy deserves to be in the UFC more than myself. That man is the most hard-working, honest man I've ever. He's here right now. I'm not going to start crying, are you, mate? You know what I mean? But you baldy bastard. Sorry to everyone who's got bald hair, but to just put it out there dead quick, he's just there for you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I was struggling to make weight on that night, and he was there. He was sleeping in the gym while I was back and forth dealing with some problems, cutting weight. He just does more than enough. That man just deserves to be in the UFC. I can't say it enough. You know, and he could beat everyone in that division. He could. Honestly, I train with him every day. He takes me down. He beats me up. But yeah, rebirth maybe because when I started, Cowabon was amazing. 7 UFC fighters they had in that gym. I was just looking, and I was just like a 17-year-old kid, and I was just like, I had Terry, the first sparring session I ever done, Terry dropped me with 2 body shots, and I was like, I will get you back. I'll get you back. But yeah, right now, Cowabon is getting more recognition, well more than it deserves. It's the best gym in the world, the coach, the people. We are a team. You know, if you're not a team player in there, go somewhere else. We don't want you. If you've got a bad attitude, if you think you're bigger than anyone, go somewhere else. That's the mentality we have at Cowabon, and Colin puts into all of us, and it works. You know what I mean? I say this all the time. I could have no training partners. As long as it's me and Colin, things are fucking fine.
After all, do you think this was the toughest fight in your career?
No, it wasn't. It was very hard to figure out. But no, I've had tougher fights before where I've been brought into the trenches and knocked down and stuff like that. So definitely not my toughest fight, but by miles my most hardest to work out. I said it in the octagon that man is the hardest fighter to work out. It's a hard fight in that sense, not as because he didn't pressure me and it didn't. It's the different type of fight. I can't say enough how tricky he is to figure out. We had a kickboxing guy in the gym, karate kickboxing guy, and I figured him out quickly. We had some good rounds of sparring, but Stephen's still so head movement, angles, that you have to be on your guard with that man. So good.
We mentioned that before. Dana said he is planning to make you on the card in Vegas. Just as you go to Vegas before the fight, do you have some plans with cooperations with some gyms in USA? Do you have anything in your mind? Where will you spend the last 2 weeks before the fight?
Just me and my coach in one of the hotels in a training room. Just you know what I mean? If some gyms invite us out, that'd be more than nice. I've got a few friends there, but just me and my coach and a few guys from Team Cowabon be training in the workout rooms or in just a UFC gym. As much as it's nice, to go to the other teams, it's Team Cowabon. It's Team Cowabon. We've never really been affiliated with anyone, and we never will be. It's us against the world. That's how I see it. It's us against the fucking world. Yeah. Thank you for everyone coming here.